Hello and welcome to MMA Crypt's Fighting Talk. On today's show, I'll be speaking with a fast-rising UK heavyweight who holds the made-for-the-cage British and European heavyweight titles. He is Mr. James Mulheron. Welcome to MMA Crypt's Fighting Talk, James.
Thank you.
Now, James, I want to start out today's show with something Colin Fletcher told me. He said your father holds a world record for doing push-ups on his fingertips. Is that true?
He's unofficial record. He's done loads. He's done 20,000 in 14 hours before. He's done 500 on one arm each hand on each fingers. He's done like 130 in a minute. He's done a few.
Wow, that's crazy. Can you do push-ups on your fingers, James?
Yeah, not as good as me dad. I'll probably get about one out.
Can you do it on one hand? I struggle to do it on two hands with the fingertips, let alone one hand.
I'll probably get a few out on one arm. That's about it.
Well, I've been watching your fights recently, James. There's been a lot of buzz. Mainly, there's a guy on our site called Aaron Pearson. He's been, hyping you up on there, so I was checking you out. And when I was watching your fights, it looks like you come from a boxing background. Is that correct, James?
No, not really, not really at all. No, if you haven't, you watch all my semi-pro fights. Went 6-0 semi-pro. I probably threw about 8 punches. It was crazy when I turned pro. I just all of a sudden just sort of kissed my hands. Something just clicked inside where obviously I rely on my grappling and always fall back on my grappling, but when I turned pro, just something just switched and I just started using my hands more. I mean, when I was younger, I went to boxing clubs and stuff like that, but nothing. I didn't have any bouts or anything. No, just trying to keep fit when I was young, and that was all.
Do you train boxing more in the gym than say grappling?
Well, I don't know, just whatever. See, when I train with Phil or the guys from NEVT at Fitness 2000s, I mean, I do bits and bobs of boxing in South Shields with 2 guys as well, actually. I have been doing more boxing than anything for this precise fight. Yeah. I've been doing lots of boxing sparring with 2 South Shields with a guy called Kev Critters and a guy called Ridley. That's what I'll be doing. I'll be boxing with.
Well, it's really strange because I notice in your fights you constantly keep your chin tucked in. Now, a lot of mixed martial arts fighters don't do that because they do it at the beginning of a fight, but as soon as they start trading and throwing leather, they sort of forget to put the chin back down. But constantly, you always tuck your chin back in. So it's like you're a natural in a way.
I probably just getting punched off my dad. I think that's over the years, and getting punched off Phil, and I just think if I kept my chin out there all the time. I mean, if you keep drilling it and sparring, it'll come naturally in a fight, isn't it? So.
Now, I understand that you're a doorman at the rooftop bar. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Did you get into mixed martial arts also to help you with the doors, or did you got into the doors because you knew mixed martial arts?
And no, I was doing MMA before working the doors. Actually, I thought it was just one of the doors. It was just a good job at the time that it didn't work at night and then you can train during the day. It just suited it down to the ground.
Now, I wanted to ask you this. I was reading a book on this famous doorman from Coventry, and he was a martial artist. He mainly used his boxing and karate when he got into a fight instead of grappling techniques, because he said obviously if you're grappling, then you can't fend off any other attackers. Like say his friend wants to kick you in, then all the guy has to do is hold you on the floor. So pretty much, do you never really use grappling if you do get into an exchange on the doors?
You know what it is? I can count on one hand the kinds of exchange, or I mean, I never have to raise your hand at the door. I mean, you're just throwing out guys who are half your weight and mortal, so there's no need to really raise your hand after if you went on the doors.
Well, you can throw them out with those strong fingertips, can't you, James?
I would Jesus, any doorman's going to be over 16 soon. He doesn't really need to be any great martial art. All he needs to do is get a hold of someone and just escort them out. And you can always just get around it just by talking to people. That's how I find most of the troubles straight away, just out the way. Just you can just talk to them. Just I don't know. Just probably like that. But now I say I didn't use any. I mean, look, it only takes one punch. I lose my job. I mean, I'll get put in jail and that. So it's got to think with your head instead of like using karate and stuff like that and people on the door.
Do you get in much trouble on the door, James? Like, do the regulars sort of like know you and not mess with you?
Oh, it's a nice place where I work. The sponsor is actually rooftop bar sponsors, so it's we've got a cushy there. It's a nice pub. It's I mean, anybody who comes in, it just shows like respect. It's not really like a nightclubby bar, so it's a nice pub where people just go for a few drinks and then maybe head to town after.
So
I've got it quite cushy.
So that's the only place where you pretty much work then? Or have you been in some like rough places in Sunderland and whatnot on Tyneside?
I've worked in other places where we're all rough. I've worked obviously all over, but just with the bar sponsoring us, would have been a nice bar. Just like the guys who run the company, the door company, they've put us on like a cushy number because they say they don't like. Obviously, there's not going to be much trouble there, so you don't need to get any trouble, or I'm not need to use much fighting, or I'm not get hit or anything at the door. You know what I mean? Just with being and doing MMA.
Yeah, well, apparently the bars are a bit more quieter. It's the nightclubs where you get more of the shit, really. Like the 3 o'clock, throwing them all out, Well, anyway, have you seen any crazy stuff? At least one good story that you could tell us about? Like, because you get crazy idiots fighting, scrapping, big brawls breaking out. There must be at least one good story you could tell us about what you've witnessed.
Well, probably the best story was when I was working in Durham, and there was a girl sitting on the bench opposite, like near a river.
Yeah.
And she was mortal drunk. She tried to come in the bar. She walked off. So like she's sitting on the bench like across the road from the pub. And I noticed I'm looking like that. It's just I could see her. She pulled her dress up, and it was one of their park benches where there was 2 like bits of wood, like a gap between it. And I just looked closely. I could just see a big shit curling in between the bit of wood on the floor. Big log she had, and then like she just did it really discreetly. So like. Me and the dollar, well, I nudged him, laughing. He just like took her knickers off and wiped her bum with it. He's like just dumped her knickers like on top of the pile of shite she had.
Oh man!
And then like got up and tried to come back in the pub. And then, oh God bless her, the poor lass. When she turned around and said, "Oh look, you can't come in. You just had a shite over there." So she turned around, just walked off, and she just had shite all the way up the back of her dress.
Man.
Oh, well, that's probably the funniest.
It's literally crazy what alcohol does to people sometimes, you know what I mean? It's like, you wouldn't do that in your wildest dreams, you know what I mean? It's like, in public as well, literally crazy. Now, as you mentioned, James, you train with UFC veteran Phil DeFries. Obviously, he's a very good grappler. How much of a help to your game has Phil been?
Oh, well, he's just been amazing. Like, I remember like a few years ago when he said to us, I thought I was only like semi-pro, and then he said to us, "You're going to be in the top 10 soon." I think he was like 3 or 4 before he fought Stav, and he was saying that, "Oh, you're going to be in the top 10." And like, at the time you think, Jesus, do you think I will?
Yeah. And
then obviously, like when you have a few fights, you realise, and it seemed the amount of confidence we're training with him put into us when he took us to America and everything, and it's just. It's just straight, like, it's given so much confidence to be able to like believe in yourself.
Wow, so, he took you to America with him? Was there any like good gyms you both went to or anything? Any famous?
I went to trained at Alliance in San Diego with like Gustafsson and Phil Davies. It was just when Phil fought on the DeSantos versus Velasquez, the second fight on New Year's. I think it was 2 years ago. Or was it? 2 years ago, or the year, one of the two. Phil fought on that card, and like I went over there for his last 5 weeks of his camp, and like trained with like Phil Davies, and that was just an amazing experience.
Damn, but that was impressive. He's got some wicked wrestling, Phil Davis. Also, he just his reach as well. But how tough was that for you? Because you're quite short. Obviously, he's like, I know he's a light heavyweight and you're a heavyweight, but damn, he's like six foot something.
Who's that?
Phil Davis.
Oh, no. I think I normally fight with tall guys anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Like height doesn't really like bother us really, you know what I mean? So I'm always going to have that. So I can't really complain about this being. I mean, if I was going to complain about it, I'd switch like weight divisions.
Yeah.
Like or light heavy or middleweight heavies, you know what I mean?
Well, speaking of training and sparring with guys, Colin Fletcher told me that you actually spar with the lightweight guys. Is that true?
I do. That's what keeps like the speed up.
Yeah.
Like sparring with like all the small guys here, NAVT, it just keeps on your toes. Most like heavyweights don't really like small guys. You don't really get much from it, but I get tons from it. Just makes your reactions faster, your hands quicker, everything. So even you wouldn't believe it, the wrestling, what they've got in there as well. All the NAVT lads are just strong as bulls, taking us down like welterweights who are like out, like when they're out of camp and they're just strong as bulls.
So do you actually take it easy on these lightweight guys, James? Obviously, you could probably sort them out a little bit if you wanted to.
No, I try to. I'll give as good as I get. It's just go out. I mean, obviously, sparring, you don't try and knock each other out, but you don't hold back. It's usually lightweight guys who are trained with. They hit this just as hard as any other heavyweight, or it's fast and it's great training. I love it. Brilliant.
Well, that's the good thing about you, James, because you can train with the big heavy guys. You can literally train with heavyweights, light heavyweights, middleweights, welterweights, lightweights. You've got it all.
Yeah.
You get so much work in and learn so much. Now, I did see a picture of you squaring off with Ross Pearson. You're literally like the same size. So, have you ever sparred with Ross?
Yeah, I spar with Ross regularly. He's over here. Well, I see he's fighting Diego Sanchez soon, isn't he? So, yeah, I think he'll be doing his camp over here, then maybe he might do the last couple of weeks. I don't know. So.
You hoping to get some training with him, help him out for his bout with Diego?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
Well, speaking of like the likes of Ross Pearson, and Colin Fletcher and whatnot, there's tons of talent coming out of the Northeast at the minute. Now, obviously, back in the day, there was Ian the Machine Freeman. He was literally carrying the Sunderland name on his back. Now there's yourself, there's Ross Pearson, there's Phil DeFries, Kurt Warburton, Davey Grant, Richie Knox, you name it. That's just to name a few. Like, what's the mixed martial arts scene like in the Tyneside area now? In terms of like gyms and local promotions, and all we have made for the cage right now, what's really giving fighters a chance to shine. But what's the mixed martial arts scene like around there?
Yeah, it's getting big now. It's the past couple of years. It's like went through the roof. Just everybody's doing it now. It's huge. Say like the Northeast. We started NAVT. I mean, it was only like I don't know if it was 2 years ago, maybe a year ago, and we're number 3 in the UK of MMA gyms. So, and that just shows how good we are from the Northeast. We just started that off a year, and if you look at the rankings that come out the other day, Northeast lads were like every single weight division there was a Northeast lad there, and more than one.
Is there any like upcoming guys who I didn't mention then that you'd like to give a shout out to our listeners, so our listeners can check them out and maybe keep tabs on them?
Yeah, but there's a few. There's so many to mention, really. Ryan Scopes obviously fighting the weekend. We all would have heard of him. Like Dash Shawn's coming through, and there's so many names, really. There's just everyone there. I think young fighters. I know there's a young kid who, obviously, like I know through the Northeast, who will be decent like years to come. Now called Joe McNally. He's just semi-pro at the minute, but he will become due. You'll be look out for him. You'll be doing well soon in the future.
Awesome. So many listeners, be sure to check those guys out. Now, James, I want to move on to your last fight and your upcoming bout. Your last bout obviously was against Stav Economou. His reputation is amazing in the UK. Probably one of the best heavyweights, and you actually defeated him. Could you tell us the excitement and the joy when you was actually given Stav as an opponent and literally defeat him as well?
I was excited to fight him. It was a privilege to fight him, really. Obviously to be in the same bracket as him and thinking, no, James could win. That would be like a dream come true for us if you had asked us a couple of years ago to be fighting like Stav Economou. I see, it was good. I was excited for it. I was ready for it. Trained hard for it. So, and then on the day of the fight and everything, just went according to plan. And he was strong. He was clever. He was like really, really strong. But I just feel as if he didn't. Yeah, like his hands for that is when dangerous. I thought, like he's power hitting. He didn't really hit as hard as obviously ever been hit. I've been hit harder, but I was just surprised at how much like he wasn't that powerful with his hands. But strength-wise, he was ridiculously strong in the clinch. And I thought it was good. It was a good fight, and I suppose it was like just trying to keep it exciting for everyone. That's one of the main reasons like why I like to fight, and it makes it exciting for people to watch. Like, 'cause sometimes like MMA gets like criticism. It's not like just people cuddling on the floor or something like that. So like just to make everyone like realise it'd be exciting. Try spinning back. I know I didn't do it in that fight, but I've got like more to give. Even like compared to that fight, I didn't really like get to show all my skills. Well, all of them really what I can do, like like spinning back kicks, spinning back fists, do like Superman punches and mad things like that. I didn't get to try in that fight.
Well, you must have a hard head, James, because I actually interviewed Neil the Goliath Grove, and he actually said, I asked him who's ever punched him the hardest, and he said Stav Economou hit him the hardest. So, no, literally, you must have a hard head, James. Yeah. And Neil Grove's a big guy too. Jeez.
Yeah. He's a big fella, isn't he?
Stav was mentioning before your fight with him that, it was a little bit too soon for you to take him on, a guy of his caliber. How did you take those comments? Did they like inspire you, encourage you to defeat him?
I don't know, when people like, anyone who says like fighters who like talk crap or they say anything, I don't have any feeling towards it. I don't like it, like, or he's enrages, or it just literally just goes in me like over my head, one in the out the other. Doesn't like, I don't like take it hard. Anything one says, I mean, just trying to like build a fight with it, just trying to be like cocky or I don't know. It doesn't bother me if anyone says anything.
Well, moving on to your next bout, I've heard rumours that you will indeed face Neil Wain on a future Made for the Cage card. Is that true?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, I mean, Neil fighting there.
Could you tell us a little bit about that, please? Will there be any titles on the line? Because obviously you got 2 belts.
Yeah, it'll be like the European one will be on the line. European title. I think it's just like it's become the European title now. The British one's mine now. I think they'll just put it like just one title on the heavyweight now. Yeah. So. Well,
Neil sort of brings a similar style to the cage. He pretty much presses forward with aggressive striking, pretty much like yourself. How is the fight going to pan out with both of you being like fighters who like to push the pace of a fight?
Well, seeing Neil, when I obviously first started MMA going into heavyweight, you see like guys who you see, and he was one of the guys who I thought, he's the same height as us. He can do it. He's the same height, and I kind of like took off him a kind of bit with his boxing and tried to look at him. But see, Neil, he's got dangerous striking. He is quite fit. He's got good wrestling. He's got really low centre of gravity. He's similar stance to my dad, so like that's why like my dad helped us loads for this fight. But it'd be a dangerous fight. He's got dangerous hands. I think he's one of the most dangerous I've faced, like hands wise and power. But if I train hard, just keep it the way I normally train, just all well and good, I should win.
Now, I notice you're more of a long-range striker. You like to get in and out and keep active. Now, Neil's sort of like, he likes to get in close, a short-range striker. He likes to get inside and whip those vicious hooks, talk him in. Do you think the fight stylistically favours you from the get-go? You can get in and out, and obviously if he doesn't time you correctly coming in, then you should pretty much be safe and be able to pick him apart from the outside.
Well, I just don't know. Just like, it seems every time I get interviewed and say, where do you think the fight's going to go? It doesn't matter where it goes. If it's close, tight, clinching, dirty boxing, if it's going to the death, I'm ready for every single position. I literally don't mind wherever the fight goes.
Well, you say that. Sorry, James, but you say that, but obviously, we know Neil, he likes to sit down on his punches. He really likes to talk them in. Now, obviously, leg kicks are going to be very effective against somebody like Neil Wain, because obviously, he doesn't like to throw the jab at, he doesn't like set you up. He just basically, every punch he throws is a knockout punch. Now, obviously, if you take his legs, his stability, he won't be able to throw as much power punches at you. So, would leg kicks be something you're looking for in this fight with him?
Maybe, yeah. Probably. Anything really, just any way to win the fight. That's what I do. And save leg kicks. If that's an option, I will take it. But anything.
Do you believe that you're the better grappler than Neil Wain?
He's more experienced, but I'm quite well. I know obviously Phil's the better grappler, and I train with Phil. Yeah. So as long as I do well with Phil, I think I should be okay.
Okay, let's move on over to BAMMA 15. Now, BAMMA 15 will be tomorrow on Saturday. Will you be watching there?
Well, I'll be on the doors, but hopefully I should be able to watch a live stream on it.
Yeah, it was knocked off Channel 5 Star, which is pretty shitty. For any listeners, actually, it's on the Extreme Sports channel, if you have Virgin Media. If not, then it's streaming live on Facebook, so that's pretty cool. Are you going to be rooting for Ryan Sculp and Colin Fletcher?
Oh, of course, yeah, I'll be screaming for them. I mean, they're both beasts, like, they're both talented, and I mean, Ryan's got a really hard test against Ali Harrison. He's a pure spoiler. He's going to try and spoil it, but I'm confident Ryan can switch it up, keep switching his stances, and I think he'll beat him. I think he'll get a sub or something like that. I think Ali will underestimate him on the deck, and Ryan will get a sub him or possibly even knock out or something, because he really carries his hand low, that Ali Harrison. So, really confident, and same with Colin. He's just dropped down weight to fight, so really confident. He's a big guy. It's going to be exciting. Colin just turns up and just fights, and he's just a great guy as well. And I heard he's going to have a great entrance, so I need to be watching that. He's going to have a great entrance coming out there.
I love Colin's entrances. Well, the thing about Ryan's on a bit of a roll at the minute. Now, Colin, he's coming off loss, so I'm really, really hoping Colin gets to win here. Now, I actually said to Colin as well, I said, I'm really shocked that BAMMA didn't try and sign you to face off against Ollie Thompson, to headline BAMMA 15. I thought it would have been a cracking fight. Would you have loved to have fought Ollie Thompson on BAMMA if it was offered to you?
Well, any fight, really. It would have been a great fight. I think Neil Wain or Ollie Thompson, they were the most. I wouldn't have minded either of them. Like, I know, like, obviously after beating Stav, I thought maybe they might have got a shout of like a bigger organisation, but that didn't happen. So I would have said Neil Wain or Ollie Thompson on any show. So I mean, if BAMMA had to come up and offered us him, then it might have been a bit too soon. Like the fight tomorrow night, like have a little bit downtime and then start camp might have been a bit too quick. But in the future, definitely. I know he's fighting Marius Pudzianowski though, like next month or the month after or something. So
do you think that's risky? Like close fights like that, it's pretty. I know when you're not in the UFC, like the big companies, like in the stateside, a lot of fighters do fight regular, but do you not find that pretty risky? Like, putting all your eggs into one basket like that, because you could get a cut, you could get an injury, and
Well, that's it. I see. Every fighter needs downtime. If you ask anyone, you need them few weeks of just chilling, relaxing, finding your feet again, and then obviously keep a little bit trained up, and then like having I like to have like at least 7 or 8 weeks training camp maybe. So that wouldn't have been long enough by the time I had a bit downtime there, and I've had like a bit bad news in the family, so that set me training back a bit as well. So,
Well, that's the thing about fighters, we don't know the private lives, and it's amazing what you guys go through. To be honest, it's hard to train for a fight and get in shape and whatnot. It's a struggle, and a lot, especially in the UK, a lot of the guys with their day jobs and whatnot, and you go and work the doors at night time, and you got to find time to train. And if anything major goes on in your life, training's already mentally hard as it is. I couldn't imagine what you have to go through, and then if you ever had any bad news at home, literally, some fighters really look through it, the injuries, the emotional pain, much respect and appreciation. Okay, we've reached the end of the show today, James. Is there anything you'd like to say to our listeners, or any shout-outs to any sponsors, or anything you want to say?
Say the fight's at the 24th of May. I'll be fighting Neil Wain, so either come down to the Great Meadows Arena to watch, or it'll be streamed live. And
is there anywhere the fans can purchase tickets for that, James? Made for the Cage or yourself?
They can either get them off me on Facebook, or get us on Facebook, or you can get us on Twitter at Mulheron James. You can catch us on there, give us a message and get them. Or you can get in touch with Dale Percival or the Made for the Cage website and get the tickets off there. Is
there any thanks you'd like to give to any sponsors there, James?
I just want to say a big thank you to the Spawn partners, Phil, my dad, Big John, Kev, Detta, all the guys at NAVT, the Padman, Davey Hall, the other Padman, Graham Pigford, and all the sponsors. So the sponsors is MEM HVAC Specialists, Aardvark Electrical Engineers, the Rooftop Bar in Kingston Park, Richmond Taxis, Smuggling Duds, H2N Nutrition, JY Nutrition, Rise Highlight Apparel Clothing, Jordan Snooker Hall, Trojan Sports, Fitness 2000, and big thank you to my strength conditioning coaches, Steve Williams and Sean McAlinden. Thank you very much to everyone.
Okay, from MMA Crypt Fighting Talk, thank you for watching.